Should I buy a Chevrolet Silverado? Does your Chevy Truck get you down? Did you lay down big bucks to buy a Chevy Silverado? Now you're wondering, is that the right decision? So I have something to tell you about longevity, value, and can the truck just give you your money's worth? How dependable is the Chevy Silverado? I bought this truck new off the dealer's lot in May 2010. Since then, this truck has been on the road, off the road, through the forest, and into the mountains. It's been a work truck, camp rig, and even a commuter. How does regular maintenance and light modification affect its reliability? After 12 years and 100,000 miles, I offer you the original owner's report.
How much value does Chevrolet build into their trucks?
Chevy trucks first became a thing in 1918, working for America through the war years. The CK lineup was introduced in 1960. Silverado first appeared in 1999, evolving through the second and third generations, to the present fourth generation. Second generation, that's where my truck is, 2010 Chevrolet Silverado. This truck has been my camp rig. Its sole purpose was to get me across North America, putting a kayak on top of the camper and just going. So it has been some places, and it has involved owning this truck from the start and then doing everything I've done to it, maintaining it, modifying it, putting it through its paces and putting the miles on it. I know this truck better than anyone else. And I've learned as I've gone on. Everything I've learned, I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. You know, by performing all the maintenance myself, I learned a whole lot about the rig. All the bolts I've turned and screws I've undone and wires and light bulbs and things I've changed and replaced. That just gives me more familiarity with it. So when time comes, if I get a breakdown on the road, well, I'm a little bit closer to knowing what's happening. But since I've owned it, I regularly check the fluid levels, serpentine belt, inspection of the hoses, chassis lubrication on the Zerk fittings, a little shot of grease in the Zerk fittings. Check the tire pressure. At 3,000 miles when I changed the engine oil the first time, I switched to synthetic and stayed that way. I've been using the AMSOIL ever since. I never got to the 15,000 mile mark that's recommended for the oil change, but I had the comfort knowing that everything's all lubricated well. For fuel, I just been running regular unleaded 87 octane, no problems. The air cleaner is a reusable element. At least twice so far, I used aerosol cleaner for the mass airflow sensor and the throttle body air intake cleaner. The brake system was flush and filled with Lucas Synthetic Dot 3. Front calipers were replaced, rear drums were removed several times and cleaned. Drum brakes are pretty stout and beefy. Cooling system was drained and filled with Dexcool. Transmission had a drain and filter change along with brand new Dextron 6 auto trans fluid. Transfer case as well was drained and refilled with Dextron 6. Both axles had the gear oil changed out when I did the gear swap. Spark plugs were replaced with the iridium type. Think of all this as preventive maintenance. You're getting your eyeballs on these things, and you're looking at it for squeaks and leaks, and you're tracking them down. You're not letting little small problems become big problems. I wanted this truck to be reliable. With just a turn of a key, and I could go and count on it. And so far, it hasn't let me down.
Okay, so here's the specs. Fortec V8 engine with active fuel management. It's pushing 302 horsepower at 335 foot-pounds of torque. Hydromatic 6-speed automatic transmission. This is a 4-wheel drive model. The transfer case is electronically controlled shifted. It has a front independent suspension with coil-over shocks and disc brakes. The rear is a loose-sprung, solid axle with drum brakes.
This Silverado came in either a regular cab configuration, extended cab configuration, or crew cab configuration. Old school, newer old school, new school. As delivered, $37,685. Off the lot, the sticker said 15 city, 21 highway. Well, that's long gone. So right now, I'm getting like 14.2 miles per gallon combined city and highway. If I got the camper or a tow, I'll still get about 14 miles a gallon. Gross vehicle rating for my configuration was 7,000 pounds. I got this printout that shows the options and how the vehicle was delivered. Identifies the vehicle with the VIN, model, when it was made. It goes down to the wheels and interior items, towing, engine. These options are what the codes mean, how your vehicle is built. The Silverado was running just fine, but I was going to use it as a camp rig, so I wanted to go ahead and change a few things. I wanted to keep the reliability the way things came from the factory, so I'm sticking with modifications at work. I'm going back to the basics: intake and exhaust. Bring cold air in and getting that spent exhaust out. So I went with a system by Gail Banks Engineering. Yeah, Banks usually does diesel stuff, but they had a system for gasoline engines too. Cold air intake, monster exhaust, and program the ECU. The air intake has a cleanable, reusable filter, so I could service the air cleaner as needed. The muffler is stainless steel. It's part of the monster exhaust system. The ECU is calibrated using Banks Flash Programmer. It allows the user to calibrate the engine for economy, work, tow, sport, super sport, extreme sport, stock with options, and back to stock again. I was able to get a calibration for my specific truck for the tire size and the gear ratio. So I'm running 34-10-50 BF Goodrich tires. Diameter increased from stock about a little over an inch. That and a gear change from 310 to 410, my programmer calibrated in, and it is sweet and dead on. Yeah, the combined gross vehicle weight rating that this truck could carry, everything, including the truck and whatever it could put on it or tow behind it, is 15,200 pounds. But that's with my stock configuration called for 308 gears, which this truck had from the factory. But I replaced them with 410 gear ratio. So if you know how to figure out what my combined gross vehicle weight rating is, or my towing capacity with the gear swap from 308 to 410, write down a comment and let me know. My gear ratio at 410 gives me a lot of torque from the line. So when this truck is empty, it feels like a hot rod. The gears just put everything right back where it needs to be. I'm now running Bilstein shocks, which give me a little bit of lift, about 1.5 inches maybe. To get the larger size tire, you have to do a slight modification to a lower corner of the wheel well. I think my modifications are really simple. I'm trying to get the engine to breathe a little better, exhaust, get those spent gases out of there, and I have the new shocks dealing with the extra weight. This bumper means serious business. I will not get in its way. Front and rear, I got ranch hand bumpers made down in Texas. This one here has the receiver mount, which is handy for the winch or anything else you want to carry. 12-volt power is fed to my winch right through this connector. These flag posts actually hold the limb risers. I got a turnbuckle with stainless steel wire going up to the top there. Keeps the limbs off the windshield going through some tight forest roads. I got ditch lights on the driver's side and passenger side, shooting down towards the ditch, so it's great at night when I'm trying to find a campsite. I fabricated this fuel fill using pieces from an old Jeep. I had to source some new hose to make the length and make it all work out, especially for the vents. The rear bumper's serious business too. I got 2 pad eyes with shackles on it, clevis pins for extraction. I got the power coming out from the back end for the winch and some running lights. Class 3 receiver hitch. I had these rock sliders custom made from a local welder. I got this battery charger installed because the truck sits for weeks without running. This is an AC powered battery charger that charges both the starting battery and auxiliary battery. I monitor the battery voltage right here on the dashboard on this voltage indicator. So I got this Optima deep cell battery as my auxiliary battery. It handles the loads for the winch and for the camper. This switch down here is a marine grade switch. It just switches the 12 volt power from the rear and front bumpers to operate the winch. The battery tray was already in this location. That's how we got our dual battery system.
Does the truck hold its value? Well, I think so. I haven't had any major issues with this vehicle since I bought it. As far as major letdowns, catastrophes, something keep me on the side of the road stuck, hasn't happened. Number 1, engine reliability. Reliability in general, right across the board. No issues in the engine or transmission, any major components with this truck. This engine has just been smooth and running well. I haven't had any issues. I haven't had to put any major outlaying of cash into it. It has not left me on the side of the road. So I think Chevrolet has something here with this 5.3 engine. Could it be just because of my routine maintenance? Or it could have been that maybe Chevy designed their products to last a long time. On the plus side, number 2, transmission. This is a hydromatic automatic transmission, but it's got a manual shift control lever on the steering column. It'll hold the gear 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It won't go past that gear, but if you come to a stop, it'll bring it back down to 1st gear and you can roll again. If you want really complete control of it, in 2nd gear, 1st gear, 3rd gear, it's holding that gear for me. It's holding that RPM, and I can control just what I want the truck to do. To me, having a transmission that I can control like that, a manual automatic transmission, is one in my book. Yeah, so this is the truck for me. 2010 Chevy Silverado. I'm glad I purchased it. It's been running fine. It's been getting me through everything, and so this is going to be the last truck I own, I'm sure. Well, no, this is going to be the last new truck. No, it's probably not going to be the last new truck. I'm going to have this truck for a while, and I'll be driving it for a long time. So this is one truck I'll just probably keep the rest of my life. The old Chevrolet. So thanks for watching the YouTube. That's it. See you later, YouTube viewers.